Welcome back to Ton's Two Cents podcast, where we tackle GovCon topics with a side of straight talk. Today, we're discussing OASIS Plus GWAC. This isn't your typical overview. It's a strategic discussion on navigating the complexities of GovCon BD and capture with confidence. And who better to guide us than Katie Helwig of Mild Red? Katie is a seasoned veteran in the GWAC and BICs area, and she's here to share her knowledge and experience. So whether you're new to GovCon or looking to refine your strategy, you're in the right place. Now let's introduce our expert of the hour, Katie Helwig. Katie is the founder and president of Mild Red and a GovCon veteran. She's here to share her insights, offer advice, and perhaps debunk a myth or two along the way. Katie, welcome to the show, and please say hello to our intellectual listeners and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. Katie Helwig, President and CEO of Mild Red. It is a consulting firm that helps small businesses create a growth strategy that makes sense for from their existing network and skill set and past performance. I had the esteemed pleasure to write a chapter in Mark Amtower's book, Government Marketing Best Practices 2.0, and we discussed association involvement, providing a step-by-step process on ways to engage, to grow your network, brand, and business potential. And I share leadership responsibilities with Tom Perry of VG Systems as chairs of FC International Small Business Committee. It is a labor of love where I meet so many inspiring humans who are trying to navigate the landscape to bring innovation and small business ingenuity to the public sectors. And I find GovCon a great community, and I feel blessed every day to be part of the solution.
Yeah, every day is different, right? And you and I met at FC International when you were on the association side. So it seems like a whole full circle now that you're on industry side.
Absolutely. And it was a great way, again, grow network on both sides. And y'all made it look like I won't say easy, but like you were mission driven, and it was just so inspiring every day, and wanted to be part of that energy.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment, and it's kind of fun, when you look at it from that perspective. But you're not the only one in your family who has the GovCon bug too, right?
No, it's sort of become a family business. I kind of married into the business, and my daughter is also part of this business. And my son is co-founder of Mild Red. So we're all in as far as the GovCon community is concerned.
Yes. And you've got military background too, right?
Well, my husband, I'm a military spouse person, but I consider that I'm married into the military community.
Exactly.
And prior to committing for that, for better or for worse, I actually worked in marketing and sales for commercial IT companies. So my GovCon, love of GovCon kind of went with me throughout Air Force base to Air Force base, as I learned and kind of embraced the Air Force core values: integrity first, service before self, excellence in all you do. I really have a profound respect for all those that are in the military and government and contractors, really serving wherever they fall, but really serving our nation in a very profound way.
Yeah. I think it's really important for those of us in industry to understand who we're helping, what mission we're trying to support. And you have served, mil spouses serve right next to their spouses. So, thanks to Chuck for his service, and to you, and looking forward to our conversation here today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I mean, I've always had a natural curiosity. And so the people at my table talking about acquisition, for the last 30 years, talking about the mission, seeing, the spark in their eyes, knowing they're making a difference. It's just where I want to be. And this community is great.
Yep. No, that sounds great. So Katie, before we get down to the nitty gritty of OASIS Plus, let's kick things off on a slightly lighter note. Could you share a pivotal moment or a decision in your career that steered you towards this path of GovCon, besides marrying into it, and ultimately being a player in the OASIS Plus ecosystem?
Sure. Well, again, going from military base to military base, you kind of had to recreate yourself every time you went. But my first GovCon gig was as a contractor on Hanscom Air Force Base, and worked for, I think it was called, I remember Agility at the time, I think it's called now. It was called Titan when I was there, L3 Titan, and was the education counselor, helping active duty getting their degrees. So I was selling degrees. I was able to use that and make sure that everyone leveraged their tuition assistance and their GI Bill to make sure when they got there, they left with something more than either their master's degree or their CCAF degree or anything else that they needed. So it was a passion of love. And I cried when we had to leave because we moved again, but knew that it was a place for me, either as a contractor or somewhere else in the GovCon arena. So, we went around the world, literally, from Colorado to Los Angeles to France, and we end up back in Virginia, or to Virginia, when retirement shingle came out and went into government contracting. And that's when I fell for FCA and became ultimately their director of small business and corporate development. And had met you and all these other great small businesses working in the government contracting arena. We put in a lot of training courses in how to do work with federal contracting. And by that time, I was like, based on my sales and marketing experience and, some of this information, I wanted to test drive what I learned. So I went to a women-owned small business and became they were just coming on OASIS in 2020, kind of the second tier, and became their OASIS program manager, helped them onboard both the trials and tribulations of that, and help them create kind of a business strategy to help win. That first win is always the hardest on OASIS. Sometimes it's just, racking your brains, trying different things and hits and misses. And sometimes it's that first, under $1 million win to kind of start priming the pump to go more. As I mentioned, it was during COVID, kind of changes happened. And I was actually a client of BD Squared. They were helping me manage the OASIS contract vehicle. And so I migrated over and became a client rep, helping at one point up to 40. I think it was down to about 20 OASIS Prime contract holders, kind of manage their processes. What I found, most people do it. There's no one way of success here. It's based on various skill sets and resources, but helping them and figuring out their path to success was really great. And my clients did really, really well on the vehicle. And it was really great to see. And I miss them every day, actually. They become part of my heart, and seeing them win still makes me smile.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to do is kind of do something more than just OASIS. So I'm more of a full service strategist, helping small businesses with their overall growth goals.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for that insight and that background. And it was hard during the pandemic. So for them to be successful during that time frame, that's a huge testament to you. This really kind of now sets us for our first segment. So let's pivot to understanding the OASIS Plus ecosystem. Can you walk us through like the basics and what makes OASIS Plus really a game changer in GovCon?
It really is. And there's, the jury is out whether or not OASIS Plus will follow suit just because of some of the changes, but I think it's going to. One, it is going to be still a best-in-class vehicle, which is a label and category management that's still very important in various agencies. So for those who say it must be best-in-class, OASIS Plus will fit that bill. But the original, it's a little bit different, where they're going to have 7 domains initially. The first is the management and advisory domain. Second is technical and engineering. You're going to have the research and development. What's going to be new is intelligence services. The enterprise solutions domain is really renamed or categorized for the unrestricted pool. You have environmental services, and you have facilities domain. So something to keep in mind that OASIS is not just OASIS, like we have OASIS Plus is incorporating other contract vehicles under this new umbrella. So for those who are existing OASIS contract holders, the environmental services, facilities domain, and intelligence services may be different. They came from either other vehicles that are being absorbed into the OASIS Plus. So it's going to be a new environment for some, a new customer potential for others, and bring in different vendors who don't know the OASIS landscape before because they were on other vehicles. So if you think about it, for OASIS has been in place for 10 years now. It's going to end December 19th, I believe, for small business, and for unrestricted in March of 2025. To date, over $72 billion has been awarded under the vehicle and over 4,600 task orders, which is phenomenal to think about. Number one user of OASIS is the Air Force. Has over 1,300 task orders. Number two, believe it or not, is the Department of Homeland Security. That came in a little late. They really didn't come in until the second of the 5 years, and they are just using it like gangbusters. Again, some of their vehicles weren't up and running, and they had this best-in-class requirement, which OASIS fits the bill. The other agencies that use it include the Army, the Navy, Department of State, Treasury, and a rising star due to great marketing from GSA and the OSIG group is USAID. Speaking of the OSIG, the OASIS has kind of created its own ecosystem. It's called the OASIS Shared Interest Group, and it teams with GSA to bring together the government and industry to understand the procurement pipeline that's targeted for OASIS, and teams, believe it or not, as a sales unit to find new opportunities to bring to the OASIS vehicle. I will say that the number one priority is the OASIS program manager and bringing with that role their network, which is a key component to the success on this vehicle.
Yeah. So I've seen that same trend too with DHS, and I think DHS has had some struggles with their own agency vehicles, and so that makes it a really attractive, option for them to move other work over there, which leads me to potentially exploring in the future how long can agencies really realistically continue to kind of maintain and procure their own agency specific vehicles and not go towards a GWAC or a BIC type of procurement vehicle. So again, devil's advocate here, but that is definitely something that they should be concerned with. And I think later on in this conversation will drill down a little bit further and kind of discuss the OSIG, which I think is a really great way to collaborate and to bring both industry and the government together, because we need to have that collaboration. We need to kind of understand from industry perspective, where the government's going, what are they thinking, and then the government always benefits from hearing from us. What some of our challenges are and what really kind of works. And so that two-way street dialogue, I think is good for everybody involved in GovCon. So thanks. That's such a really, really good overview, Katie.